Oh, man, this movie. This is definitely different from the first Rambo. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and it is once again another Rambo review as we prepare for Last Blood, which comes into theaters this weekend. This time I am reviewing Rambo First Blood Part 2. This movie came out in 1985. Something I was very surprised about with this film, to kind of get this off the top. As the movie starts, the credits come up. The screenplay was by Sylvester Stallone and James Cameron. James Cameron had his hand in the Rambo pot, and wow, I did not see that coming at all. I had no idea James Cameron co-wrote the screenplay with Sylvester Stallone for this film. Anyway, getting off of that point, this movie sees Rambo a couple years after the events of what happened, town in Washington that went against Rambo. We find him incarcerated, and he's working basically as kind of like this stone quarry. He's doing physical labor. And Colonel Troutman comes and tells him, hey, look, I have a mission for you. It's better than being in prison, and you're going to be going back to Vietnam to basically help out these POWs. And so Rambo has to go back to Vietnam, and he ends up getting this assignment to take pictures of the facility as opposed to just kind of going in and helping these POWs escape. He ends up freeing one of the POWs, and then the officer overseeing all of this, who is, by the way, the biggest douchebag probably in film I've seen in quite a while, he ends up lying to Rambo, and he didn't want POWs to be found at all, and chaos ensues really between Rambo, this Vietnamese military camp. Russia is also involved. I really enjoyed First Blood. I thought it was very different, very unique, and something that I didn't expect was the aspect of Rambo going against cops. This movie was what I thought the first Rambo would be like, where it's him in Vietnam, and he basically gets these POWs and he helps them escape. And Rambo just shows how much of a bad A he is by basically taking out the entire camp. There are great action moments in this film. This film is definitely more action heavy than First Blood. However, my biggest concern, my biggest problem with this film is the fact that it's very, very over the top, very cheesy, to the point of making me kind of get out of the real world and more into like the movie verse. And I'm fine with that. I like being, involved in movies. I love being in a movie-centric world. But when you're ultimately trying to make a plot seem more reasonable, more real, and grounded in reality, and then you take me out of that for some hokey action stuff, it kind of tempers my expectations a bit. And not only that, but it confuses me on what this film is trying to do. Is it trying to drive home the point that this movie is grounded in realistic belief of how the Vietnam War was? Or is this movie just trying to kind of be over-the-top, action-heavy, just cinematic fun? And so the tone never really kind of hits me in one way or another. I just keep getting swayed in both directions, back and forth. That's something that I felt like was a big misstep from, the original First Blood. And what made First Blood so great was the fact that it just felt very low budget, and it felt very isolated. In this movie, it just feels bigger budget. It feels kind of very out there. The Rambo character just doesn't feel the same. I mean, there was something unique about him. And the fact that he didn't speak a lot, the fact that he was suffering from PTSD, and how he wanted to do what was right and kind of stand up for himself. In this movie, it just kind of seems more like, let's make him the Terminator, where he can literally do nothing wrong. Everything kind of just falls into his lap. And he'll suffer, some emotional heartbreak towards the end of the film where the third act begins. But that's it. That will help the audience realize that he is a human and that he does have humanistic qualities, as opposed to kind of being this Terminator, this machine that can basically kill anyone in its path. And to me, the movie just got a little too hokey at times, and for its own good. I will say, though, I had a really pleasantly good time with this film. It does feel like it drags. This is an hour-and-a-half long movie, but sometimes it feels longer than that because there's just so much action, to where the action just kind of leans more towards just filler as opposed to kind of serving the actual moral of the story. And I don't know, I love action films, don't get me wrong. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is the best action film ever made. And that movie, it feels fully fleshed out, and the pacing doesn't feel like it's dragging at all. But this movie, it felt different than that. I felt like it did drag a bit. And when I got to the hour mark in this film, I was like, wow, I thought I only had 5 minutes left. But no, I have still 35 more minutes left of the film. It's just, it really kind of gets to a point where it just saturates the entire runtime of the film because of all the action in the movie. Sylvester Stallone does a great job. I love him in this role. I think he's great as Rambo. I think all of the main actors work in this film again. Another big gripe that I had, the speech at the end of the first film is incredible. It's very emotional, and you understand the problems that Rambo is going through. They try to do it again with this film, and it doesn't work. It really falls flat on its face. And how about the closing music? During the closing credits. Oh my gosh, what is that? You want something upbeat. This is an action-packed, heavy film, and you give me something sad and kind of low and depressing. What? Anyway, guys, this is a good time. It's a very serviceable action film, and if you're really into heavy action, you will really enjoy this movie. Anyway, what do you think of Rambo First Blood Part 2? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video. Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. Next time we'll be reviewing Rambo 3, which I've heard is even way more over the top. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.